Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. We're going to dive in on the topic of vitamin D and the immune system. It's even more relevant today with a lot of the immune stress that's out there in our environment. We're going to dive in. Also, before we do, make sure you put your comments down below. Really want to know what your experience with vitamin D is. And also make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications of future content coming your way. All right, let's dive in. So first thing, vitamin D is going to be one of these. It's the sun vitamin, right? You're going to make a lot of it through healthy sun exposure, during April to October, typically between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, you don't want to burn when you get sun exposure. And if you have darker skin, whether it's tan or you have full African American skin, you may need more supplemental vitamin D because the melanin in your skin that gives it pigment is a natural sunblock. So if you have darker skin, you're going to need supplemental vitamin D. So it's good to keep an eye on it, especially during immune stress time, to run a 25 hydroxy vitamin D3 test. That's helpful. I like 50 to 70, at least above 50. If you have immune stressors, maybe 70 to 100 is okay. But around there is going to be a pretty good place. Vitamin D upregulates a natural antibacterial enzyme called cathelicidin, so it really helps with immune stress. Lots of studies, people that have some of these recurring viral illnesses that are out today are doing better, less mortality, better recovery with higher vitamin D levels. A lot of that, as you get older, vitamin D tends to drop for elderly because they become less active, they go outside less. And that's a big deal. So vitamin D is going to help upregulate that natural antimicrobial enzyme. It's also going to help modulate the immune system. Vitamin D has effects on what's called the T regulatory cells, which help kind of modulate and balance your Th1 and your Th2 immune system. Your Th1 is like your cytotoxic, that's like the first special forces that go out to deal with whatever the issue is. That's your Navy SEALs, that's your Delta Force, that's your Army Rangers, right? Those are your Green Berets. Those are the special forces that get out there first. Then you have your Th2, which is kind of the delayed infantry response or the delayed antibody response. That's called the humoral immune response. And that's going to be delayed. So when you have imbalances because of autoimmunity or different stress because of interleukins and cytokine stress from food or whatever else is going on in your body, vitamin D is going to help modulate that. So taking vitamin D regularly, a good general recommendation if you're not testing is about 1,000 IUs per 25 pounds of body weight. After 2 or 3 months, though, you probably want to be retesting or testing just to ensure you're not overdoing it. You can always use that dose for 2 to 3 months, I think, without testing, and then cut it in half to follow, just so you don't overdo it. Is a pretty good general recommendation if you don't want to test. If you want to test, I'll put a link down below. So if you want to go to your local Quest lab, you can do that. 50 to 70 is a good general range, and 70 to 100 if you have autoimmunity or immune stress. And again, you can always try to get 20 or 30 minutes, get that minimal erythemal dose, right? MED, just enough till your skin turns a little bit pink, not till it burns. That's a good sign that you're getting enough vitamin D. Now, what's the best kind? Vitamin D3 from a high-quality animal product will be the best. I have one called the Mulsi D3 that's going to be in an MCT oil blend. Those are the best. There's a D2 that comes from a animal or a plant-based product of lanolin. The plants, the absorption isn't as good. Not as good. Not the natural form of vitamin D. D2 has to get converted to D3, so D3 is a more natural form of it outside of the sunlight. With the sunlight, you make a whole bunch of other precursor compounds on your skin that you absorb, so that's always the best, but it may not be the most practical, especially if people are inside or doing a quarantine thing. You really want to make sure you're getting enough vitamin D. Now, you can do it in the morning is probably the best time because that's when the sun would come up, and that's when you make vitamin D is through sunlight, right? So doing it at night, I've heard people do that. Probably not the most natural. You can even do it once a week. Sometimes I'll just do one bolus. If I know I need 5,000 IUs for the week, I'll take 35 or 40,000 IUs just in one whack, just because I don't want to forget it, right? That's reasonable. There's a lot of people doing 50,000 IU boluses once a week. That's fine too. I think it's probably better if you do it regular, but it's also worse if you miss it at all. So most important thing is you're complying with it. All right, let's dive into a couple of questions off the bat. Do you think vitamin D plays a role in allergies and sinus issues? It can. Because vitamin D helps modulate the immune system. So if you're more Th2 dominant, right, you're going to have more allergies. Now, things you can do is you can do my sinus flush protocol. Do that twice a day. and get a high quality air filter. That will at least decrease the immune stress and take stressors out of your stress bucket. Of course, fixing the adrenals, making sure your diet's really clean, all of those things make a huge difference. But if you're one of these people that are already doing really good with your diet and supplements, and it's just an acute time of the year, like in Austin, we have cedar. Well, that may happen. Then having some of these acute protocols where you do a sinus flushing compound, xylitol, minerals that are pH balanced, a really good flushing agent, not the neti pot that's gravity fed. You can use a nasaline or one of these sinus pressurized bottles are going to be great. Vitamin D would definitely help, but if you're having a lot of allergy issues, you want to look at things that are histamine degranulators. So quercetin's excellent, higher dose vitamin C, DAO from kidney glandular is excellent, burdock root, ginger's really good, quercetin, bromelain, NAC is really good. All those are excellent. Great questions off the bat. All right, let me keep on rolling here. Dr. J, wonder why you're not covering the C word anymore. Oh, it's because of censorship. So I don't want to be censored, so we don't say the Voldemort word here because of censorship. Anything else to help absorb vitamin D3? It's a fat-soluble vitamin, so take it in with other fats, okay? So olive oil dressing, high-quality animal product, take it in with other fats. Mine has MCT oil. A lot of the good ones are going to have some kind of MCT or coconut oil or olive oil compound. That's going to help the absorption side. Great questions. What would cause low vitamin C despite a diet with lots of vegetables? Is liposomal vitamin C best? Liposomal vitamin C is good, or some kind of a balanced buffered vitamin C with like potassium or magnesium, like kind of ester C kind of compound or bioflavonoids is great. Ascorbate is also a reduced form of vitamin C is also great, and liposomal vitamin C is great. Those are all really, really good options. You know, maximize vegetables, maximize lower sugar fruits. Those are going to be really great. And then do your rest through supplementation. A friend been struggling with nasal issues, tried pressure bottle rinses, but hurts his ears, has trouble drinking fluids, has to get very slow at first, but then can guzzle it. What does that mean? You could do the navage. It would probably maybe a little bit easier to do because it's pressurized one way and then it sucks it out the other. That may be a good option as well. And then regarding that, I'm not sure what you could do. You try the neti pot, which would have a little bit less pressure. You could do that. That's a good option for you. And see how it goes. Any thoughts on diverticulitis? Yeah, I mean, the diverticuli are these little herniation outpouchings in the small or in the colon, large intestine. So get the food fix. Get the food fix, cut out nuts and seeds and things that could stick in there, right? Get some good probiotics on board and fix the gut. There's probably some infections. Work through my 6 R's. Remove the bad foods, replace the enzymes, acids, repair the gut lining, inflammation in the gut and hormones, remove the infections. That comes fourth, not first. 5th R, repopulate, reinoculate good bacteria, and then retest. Taking vitamin D with my bulletproof coffee would be good. Yes, it would. That'd be totally fine. You could even put the vitamin D right in the coffee. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Best form of vitamin D, liquid or capsules, doesn't matter. A lot of times people will do vitamin D with some K2. That's fine too. Those are both fat-soluble vitamins. Capsules, it's okay too. A lot of times it's just the liquid that's in a gel cap, so it's basically the same thing. I like the liquid because you can go higher dose. So if you need to do like an acute vitamin D protocol because of an acute infection, you can come in there with drops and you can dose it up a lot higher. So that's the benefit of the liquid. If not, you have to take a lot of capsules, which is still fine, but you won't be able to dose it up as fast or as easy. What would cause foamy urine? Hard to say. I mean, you can run a microscopic urinalysis, make sure there's no bacteria or infections or anything else. Could be some protein in your urine. Hard to know. But a good microscopic urinalysis will give you a little bit of window to make sure there's not a UTI or any kind of bladder or kidney infection or extra proteins that could be coming out. But just make sure your diet's good and there's no other major stressors, and keep an eye on it. See if you notice any correlations on your own. And then outside of that, get a microscopic urinalysis done. My gut's been out of whack for 3 years. Bunch of symptoms: bloating, anxiety, OCD, reflux. Not sure if it's leaky gut. Taking a break from some bad habits such as coffee, alcohol, and snacking. Yeah, if you have any acid reflux It's always good to start off cutting out coffee and then work on cutting everything else out too. A lot of people I find once they cut everything out and they kind of move toward a paleo or an autoimmune paleo and they work on digestion and go to the 6 hours, a lot of times they're able to add back in coffee. But it's always good to pull coffee out in the beginning just because it could be a little bit of an irritant and could be causing a problem. Suggestion on good probiotics. In my line, there's one called ProBioFlora. That's a 11 to 12 species blend of lactobacillus and bifidobacter species. Love that one. ProBioFlora, 1 to 2 capsules a day is fine on an empty stomach. And I'll put the link down below afterwards so you can find it. Can a typhoid infection lead to a leaky gut? Sure. I mean, typhoid or a bacterial infection or E. coli or salmonella or H. pylori, all those could potentially increase gut permeability. Even taking gluten. There's been studies looking at non-celiac gluten sensitivity with people that don't even react to gluten. And guess what? There's an increase in gut permeability. What would be the max time span to take HCl? The max time span. Take it with food. I'm not sure what you mean by time span. Take it with food's ideal. Constant nasal congestion with friend, but if nasal congestion gets worse when he eats anything, it's just likely what you are eating. If his diet's low carb and good balance of veggies. Yeah, I mean, so when you have sinus issues, you got to get the food right. You got to get the food right. You got to get digestion right. You got to work on the gut. If all those things are kind of stable, then you can do more of the topical things. But if the foundation isn't right, you're always going to be just, a cat chasing its tail, so to speak. Foamy urine can be too much protein and it's not getting broken down. I mean, it's possible. Typically, whole food protein usually isn't an issue. Make sure you're taking enough HCl. Make sure there's not a gut stressor going on. Make sure there's not a bacterial infection. Those are all really, really good things to rule out. So vitamin D is going to be a really excellent immune modulator. Glutathione is also a really good immune modulator. That really helps a lot. Curcumin and resveratrol have really good immunomodulation kind of benefits too. My favorite is going to be vitamin D and glutathione. Those are my two favorites. How bad is alcohol in the gut? I mean, it just depends. Take it with food. A little bit of protein is better. Higher quality clean vodka or a drier champagne is really good, much better than like a really sugary drink or lots of beer that has gluten in it. So you just gotta, pick the lesser of two evils. Eat with a little bit of protein in your tummy, and even maybe a little bit of activated charcoal. If you have active gut issues, you probably want to cut it out while you work on healing it. How can I take or get rid of tinea versicolor? I've been on the terbinafine tablet and cream. So you got to fix the gut first and fix the diet. Fix the diet first, fix the gut second for fungal issues. There's some good topical creams out there. There's a one by, I think it's called Wonder Balm I forget, but it's on Amazon, Wonder Balm. I'll put the link down below. That has some tea tree and some good antifungals in there. You can use that topically. That's great. Outside of that, then you'd want to work on the gut with the various herbs, whether it's oil of oregano or undecanoic acid or grapefruit seed extract. Those are all really great options. Is peanut butter unhealthy to eat? Well, it's a legume, tends to be a little bit higher in aflatoxins. Not my fave, but if it's in the 20%, I don't see it being that big of a deal, right? The 80-20 rule, 80% of the time, maybe 20% is okay. I was wondering if it's okay to take HCl forever or if you should take it for a little while. Don't want to end up hurting myself. I mean, HCl is fine to take longer term. I wouldn't want to rely on it all the time if you don't need to. So I typically recommend for people that are healthy, take HCl when you go out to eat, when you're eating a much bigger meal than normal, or you're eating when you're stressed, right? So stressed, holidays, out to eat, those may be more pertinent time, better applied times to do it versus all the time. You want to keep your digestion strong, so so it doesn't have to rely on it all the time. There's typically no data on it would decrease your own internal hydrochloric acid levels, but if you could have good digestion on your own, I'd want to work on or at least give your body the opportunity to do some digestion on your own. Very good. It wouldn't hurt you though. I don't see a problem with that. And you can even do gentle things like bitters or even a little bit of ACV kind of longer term if you want a little more support. But if you're stable, don't use it all the time. Just kind of as needed in those situations that I mentioned earlier. All right, guys. So vitamin D, great video here today. Add that in, 1,000 IUs per 25 pounds of body weight. Get tested, 25 hydroxy vitamin D test. We'll put a link down below for that. Outside of that, if you guys enjoyed the content, thumbs up. Put your comments down below. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'm available for consultation worldwide if you want to reach out to me or my staff directly. I am here for y'all. All right, guys. Have a great day and stay healthy. Take care. Bye.